Hello and welcome to Bo Beats. My name is Bo and I run this YouTube channel about music production and creativity. So before we get started, we have to have a little sip of the coffee. And I'm sure there would be comments about me holding the cup, not in the handle. So I recently got a question about what are my favorite synthesizers at the moment. I thought about doing like a, best synthesizers of 2016, but then I realized I don't really have that many synthesizers that are from 2016. So in this video, I'll talk about 3 favorite synthesizers that I have on my list right now. So one of my favorite synths at the moment is of course the Circuit. No. It's a favorite, but I'm not going to put it on this list. The Circuit is amazing. It's an amazing groove box. But as far as synthesizer go, I think there's a lot of interesting choices to be had. So let me talk about a synthesizer that I do not own, but I think is really good. And it's the Wavestate 2. So the Korg Miniloge was just released and it looks pretty cool too. But the Wavestate 2 can be found for sub 300 euros used, and I think it's not much more than 400 euros new in many places. And I think for that kind of money, and with its track record and with all the available resources, with patches, I know if you go to like the Wavestate group on Facebook or the Circuit owners group on Facebook and ask around, people will give you a ton of patches if that's what you're looking for. So the Wavestate 2 is something that I always promote because I think it's a really, really good balance between, cost and performance. And if you're curious about the sound of the Wavestate 2, I'll just leave you with a little snippet from a friend of mine, Matt Greer, and a tune from his YouTube channel. So I'll put an annotation up in the corner and a link in the description to his channel if you want to check him out. He does some amazing stuff with hardware synthesizers. So here is the Wavestate 2 playing the lead. And the reason why I don't say Korg Miniloge is simply because it's a very new synthesizer. It's not been tested through and through. The Wavestate 2 has been there for a long time. So you might wonder, why do I not own it if I like it so much? Well, I'm this close to just, pressing buy on over on the Focusrite website, throwing some of my hard-earned money at it. But the thing is, I already have a sub 37 from Moog or Moog. I also have the MiniLoge. So, it doesn't really fill a role in my studio. But if you're a beginner who wants a mono synth, remember it's mono, so you can't play chords on it. But if you want something, good for lead and bass sounds and effects, for example, or cool arpeggios, I think you can't go wrong with the Wavestate 2. It's super affordable. And if you like the sound of the Korg Miniloge instead, or there's something with the form factor, that's a good second pick as well. Now, any top synthesizer list wouldn't be complete without an Elektron product. I mean, I have to, support my guys here in Sweden who produces such an amazing array of synthesizers, samplers and whatnot. We have the Octatrack here, we have the analog Rytm, and we have the analog keys here. And if the question is which is the best synthesizer, I would be a bit unorthodox here and I would say the analog Rytm. If there's any piece of Elektron equipment that I wouldn't get rid of at the moment, it's the Rytm. But Bo, is it really a synthesizer? Yeah, of course it is. I think it's 8 voice analog synthesizer, drum synthesizer. You can create your own analog sounds on it and you can mix it with samples. And this is what I really like about it. It's so easy to create something that sounds kind of fresh, cool, and also it has an amazing sequencer. So I would definitely recommend this to anybody looking for a drum machine, because I feel like, people buy different drum machines and use them together. But if you buy the analog Rytm, you don't really need any other drum machine. This can do pretty much anything. Now, it's not for everyone, but it's my top pick for a great synthesizer. And now you might be thinking, oh, he's going to talk about his Moog Sub 37. No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about my Korg Miniloge, because it's definitely one of my favorite synthesizers at the moment. And I can already hear the shattering on the keyboards. Bo, how can you advocate the Korg Miniloge when you have a Moog Sub 37? Well, the thing is this. I really like the Moog, but it's quite expensive. It's not expensive. I think you get what you pay for, but it's quite expensive. It's not for everybody. And, you know, I simply have a lot of fun with the Korg Miniloge. Now, of course, you have to take a couple of things into consideration. Yes, it is a bit noisy, like most Korg, you know, the cheaper Korg stuff is, like the Volcas are a bit noisy, and I think the Miniloge is a bit noisy as well from what I'm hearing. You know, it's a little bit noisy. It's a little bit metallic to the sound. I think the Korg Miniloge got a more well-rounded sound, but the Miniloge it's really nice. And then you also have to take into consideration that there are some stuff with the OS on it that's not fully, you know, fully fleshed out yet, and I'm not really sure that they will fix it ever. There are some small things like the sequencer always starting when this unit receives clock and whatnot, but let's not talk about the negatives. This is a really good synthesizer if you want to learn synthesis, and it's also a very good synthesizer if you want a lot of hands-on control, fast, quick to create stuff on it. And, you know, I often end up using it, even though I have better synthesizers, you know, technically better synthesizers. And I end up using it. So this is really on my, like, top 3 list at the moment. So in summary, if you want an affordable monosynth, I would go for the Bass Station 2 or the Korg Miniloge if you think that sounds better to your ears. But remember, as with most of the more analog synthesizers, you might want to consider picking up some kind of effects pedal, or remembering that it will sound a bit dry if you don't add effects to it. So what I'm saying is, don't expect it to sound like $1,000 right out of the box. I mean, even the Sub 37 needs a bit of reverb and chorus and so on, you know, to really make it shine. And if you're looking for a drum machine, I would really recommend the analog Rytm. It's a lot of fun. It's pricey, yes, but you do get a lot of value for your money, because remember, you get a very capable analog drum machine, sample player, groove box with effects, with great sounding effects on it. And you know, if you take something like the drum brute and then you add the costs for the effects, suddenly it's, you know, it's getting up there. It's getting more expensive. So this was a little video on my favorite synthesizers. If you like content like this, please consider slapping a like, subscribing, and you can support me over on patreon.com/BoBeats. So I want to thank you so much for watching and hope to see you in the next video. This was Bo from BoBeats, and have a pleasant day.